Bună ziua și bine v-am găsit.
Hello and welcome. I suggest we wait a couple of minutes more because people are still enrolling in the Zoom meeting, and then we can begin.
Bun, o să începem. Bună ziua la toată lumea.
We are going to begin. Hello everyone. We are the representatives of Impact. We are currently organizing the teleconference for the first quarter. We are going to present the facts to you. I am joined by my colleague Teodora from the ESG department and Mr. Claudiu Bistriceanu, the CFO of the company. After which we will invite you to ask your questions. You can ask questions during the presentation. You can ask questions in the Q&A section in the chat functionality. We will answer all your questions. For those joining us for the first time, we are going to briefly present the activity of the company. Can you please move on to the next slide? So the first quarter was a turbulent one for us. We are going to go into more detail, and I'm sure you have questions. As a short overview, as I stated, for those who are joining us for the first time, Impact has been active on the market for over 30 years. Over 25 years, it has been a member of the Bucharest Stock Exchange. In this period, Impact received a lot of innovations and pioneered a lot of areas in this activity. We were developers on the market. In this entire period, we developed over 17 projects, huge projects, large communities in Bucharest and outside of Bucharest, in Oradea, Constanța, Ploiești. We continue to expand our international projects, our national projects in Iași, for example. Basically, our projects position us on the mid-scale residential market. We are a leader of the market and we maintain this core business. We want to remain a leader on this market. In our development strategy, We have an increase in terms of portfolio. This comes mostly from the need to service our communities. And this year, in the first quarter, we launched Greenfield Plaza, and it entails all of the necessary services for our residents from this community. We are going to continue this philosophy and implement it in all of our projects. As you know, it's a first-time event. We also have a public daycare unit. We also launched the Greenfield Parochy, so it will be a community with a church included. So these are all aspects that build the convenience side and possibilities made available to the inhabitants of our neighborhoods. Last year, as I stated in the last teleconference, we talked about this strategy that we have been applying for over a year in view of the effects of the overlapping crises that we have tackled, which have translated into the acquisition of the majority share in the construction company, as well as the establishment of a new construction company for the Moldova region, which we want to use to develop the project in Iași. We also have now an architecture firm. So we basically now cover all development services except for the project management services, which we outsource currently in our development project and process. The cities that I mentioned, Iași is the next target, the next market that we are going to open this year. Constanța is a historical project that we have had for almost over 20 years. We are focusing on the delivery of the last phase of Boreal, which is comprised of 3 stages. The first stage, approximately 100 apartments were put up for sale recently. As I stated, we build large communities. We build in a sustainable manner. Our ESG framework is public. All of our developments have the NZ criteria incorporated, as you saw the case for Surya and Excellent. And also on the commercial side that we develop, we want to certify our activities and our processes. So this vision that we have is a practical one, and it's based on this framework that you can see here and on these targets that we have set for us. In Greenfield, we are finalizing a photovoltaic park. So this is an investment in a reduction of CO2 emissions. As you know, we have certifications that we renew each year. We have ISO certification. We have the Bucharest Stock Exchange Premium Category certification, second party opinion. Corporate governance, in terms of this area, it's renowned. It's actually positively assessed by means of the Vector 10 indicator that we have obtained for the 3rd time. And it shows our reliance and focus on a good corporate governance and on transparency that we apply and respect that we have for the people we communicate with and the shareholders of the group and company. Here you can see the team. The team is also listed on our website. This is based on the process that we started 2 years ago to streamline departments and divisions within the company. We have experts, and this can be seen via the CVs that are available on the website. Here you see the Bucharest Stock Exchange indices. They are public, so you can, I'm not going to insist. Now we are going to talk a little bit about the market. The first quarter was highly affected by the increase of interest rates, over 70%. in terms of our current stock entails acquisitions achieved by means of loans. So that's why there is a regression on the market in Romania. We have a slightly positive news. The increases seem to stagnate at the moment. We hope in the third quarter of the year we are going to witness a decrease in terms of interest rates in this regard, and we believe that as of last year, the demand on the market will increase and will be concluded in acquisitions, and hopefully we'll also enter a normal stage after this shock that we have all encountered. Now we have statistics in terms of the prices across main cities, in terms of apartments for sales. We believe that this trend of price increase will be maintained, maybe for some exceptions in terms of certain developers, but we don't see a decrease in terms of price, in terms of demand and costs. In terms of opportunities, they are obvious. We discuss them in every conference we organize. There is a high demand.
Old and very old. In the past years, only 15% of the inventory on the market has been renewed. The demand will continue to be high, and it's very sensitive this quarter to the costs, interest costs specifically. It influenced dramatically the sales process. If we see this tempering, we will see an improvement in the sales part. Please close the chat a bit. In the first quarter, we have an inventory high of pre-sold 457, over 50 million euro. We will start to receive the revenues from the greenfield, and we have the liquidity. Total revenues were modest as compared to our estimate, 7.6 million lei. The good news is that we obtained our target in the gross margin objective of 30%. We have over 1,600 units under construction. And we're considering a market recovery next year. And it's sufficient to maintain the sales rhythm. Total assets over 350 million, adjusted in accordance with EPRA. As you know, we have a land bank significant, 85.9 hectares, and the capacity to develop in the following at least 10 years. I need a larger screen. As outlook, by the year end, we're financing a significant phase in greenfield, 730 units. We are in the acceptance phase. we want to continue another phase in Greenfield of 598 units. Boreal, we finalized the first phase of development, 209 units, and the sales have started. We estimate to begin the phase 2, and if we see an upward trend, we expect another 132 units to be sold. We obtained the planning certificate for Barul Băcărescu. We are undergoing approval, and we hope by year end to submit our request for the building permits. It's 350 million euro, the value in residential, and we have 6,000 square meters in commercial real estate in Barul Băcărescu. We want by year end to finance the 141 units in Luxuria. There, the sales rhythm is better. A lot more clients are paying by cash and not using loans. These are our targets for this year. There is an important milestone for us in Iași. We have submitted our building permit. We expect it to be released soon, and we target beginning construction in the Iași compound. I will invite Claudiu Bistriceanu, our CFO, to provide a summary of the financial data. And in the first quarter, we sold 24 units. The apartments were delivered to customers. So when we transfer the ownership, are being recorded revenues. We did not succeed to use our experience in Bucharest concerning the land registry. We recorded those proceedings in April. Selling price increased by 1,600 euro square meters. We started to work on the budget for this year, including the 3 companies within the group, will entail some pressure on the expense side. We started a process of optimizing this cost. We mainly succeeded in this first quarter. We had only 21% increase on the loans side. At the end of last year, we had 457 dwellings, and of which 433 will be translated into revenues in the 2023-2024 period.
Once we concluded the first phase of Boreal Constanța, we also had a couple of infrastructure investments. So this led to an increase of 20% for property, plant and equipment. We continued the development in Greenfield Băneasa. The stocks show a variation of 5% in terms of inventories. This also resulted in a 15% decrease in cash as well as an increase in loans by 7%, but we managed to balance everything out so that our assets increased to 28%. The debt to assets ratio increased to 28%. Basically, at the end of the first quarter, as of March 31st, we had 70% of apartments sold or pre-sold, and 98% were in Greenfield Băneasa. We only have 2 units left for sale in Greenfield Băneasa. In the first quarter, we started a new construction phase in Greenfield Băneasa, approximately 325 units. This was in phase 3, and now we reach a total of 982 units in Greenfield Băneasa. In terms of adjusted assets, as per the EPRA standards, we reached 350 million euros at the end of the quarter, and the net asset, as per EPRA standards, stabilized at around 246 million euros. I would like to mention the fact that there is a difference of approximately 67 million euro between net assets that is reflected in the EPRA NAV, but not reflected in the financial statements. As I stated earlier, we have a land bank of 85.9 hectares with a value of approximately 174 million euros. Approximately 71 hectares can be used for future projects. Thank you. I see that we have questions already. The first question, in light of the results as per Q1, do you maintain your target in terms of sales and net profit for 2023? We are optimistic in terms of this aspect. We maintain our target. We are relying on a future recovery in our months left by the end of the year, until the end of the year, so that we can we see the market already is showing revenue opportunities, and we hope to maintain this trend and reach the targets for our year. More than 450 units regarding the units. Another question, the average cost per square meter increased by 165 euros compared to the first quarter of the previous year. Yes, we don't see it. It's an average price for our projects. Okay, if you have questions, you can use the chat function, you can use the Q&A function.
Până mai bine întrebări.
Until we receive more questions. We mentioned that we opened Greenfield Plaza. It's part of the Greenfield community with full services. It has proximity, convenience stores, a store over 1,500 square meters. We have wellness, indoor pool, outdoor pool facilities. It's very appreciated by the community. We have over 600 members in the Greenfield Club, and we intend by the end of the summer to have all of our spaces rented out. The spaces are a mix that we envisaged for the well-being of the community. So we have supermarket areas, we have wellness areas, pet shop areas, we have coffee shops, a coffee shop, we plan on including restaurants. We have pools areas, squash facilities, so full services in this regard of wellness and leisure. As of this weekend, we are going to open the outdoor pool facility and playgrounds for children. So we have this as a very important component in our portfolio of services in terms of greenfield communities. And we are under permanent discussions in terms of resolving all situations regarding the inhabitants of our communities. Maybe you are informed in the press at the level of the first district. There was an approval of a budget of 80 for the procedures to cement for the laying of asphalt for certain roads in the first district. So we are continuing discussions to see how this can how this can help Greenfield as well. It's something that has affected us, of course, and it also led to maybe a reduction in terms of sales. It's a lot of red tape that we have to go through, and it entails a much more difficult access, but we want to ensure a better access in the next quarter. We are currently discussing to talk about runways and passageways. In terms of documentation, we are discussing with the state authorities, and in terms of traffic fluidization and optimization, we are currently having discussions right now with the involved stakeholders. So these are the main highlights from the first quarter. If you have any type of question, please let us know. We have received 2 more questions. Can you respond, Claudiu? Hello. What is the revenue recognition process? Can you explain the revenue recognition process versus cashed advances? So when the sale purchase moment is concluded, in addition to the 15% advance sum, that advance is recognized as a collected cash revenue. In terms of revenues, we don't recognize anything. When we conclude the sale purchase agreement and we transfer the ownership right and the beneficiary pays the rest of the amount, then we will recognize 100% the transaction, and then the bank releases the funds in our collector account. What IFRS standard is applied for the recognition of revenues? It's standard 415, if I heard correctly. Thank you very much. Standard IFRS 15. If there are any other questions, what percentage of your clients purchases based on loans? It's an important variation amongst the projects. For example, in Greenfield, we have approximately 70% clients who purchase based on loans. In Luxuria, as I mentioned, we have a lot of investors, so it's more cash-based. It depends on the typology of the project and the stage of the project in the development phase. But as a general rule, probably 70% loans, 30% cash as an average. I think 70% of the clients purchase based on bank loans.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, thank you for participating. Please contact us. You have on the website all our contact details. And we want to be as transparent to you. We are there for you to communicate. And thank you for participating. And have a good day.